right. So find a comfortable seat. And usually that means kind of being upright, being on a little something. I'm sitting on a bolster, but whatever you're comfortable sitting on, chances are good that sitting on the ground, on the floors, you're not your best bet. So a little bit of height can be helpful. Check in and make sure your knees are in line with your hips. And then if you're sitting cross-legged, switch the cross of your legs. Okay, just to invite something new within your body, kind of break a habit. Habits are good. Habits are awesome. They're efficient. We gain nervous system efficiency by doing repetitive things, but there's also this beauty that can be found by just switching the subtlest little thing. So as you notice now a new posture with your legs crossed the other way, notice how there's a curiosity in your nervous system, that there is a heightened awareness of, oh, this is a little unfamiliar. What can I do with this to settle and be comfortable? So notice your sit bones, and notice if your legs can find ease, if you're able to drop them and let them find the ground and find these rooted, yielding kind of quality. And then feel the posture of your spine, and recognizing that fake it till you make it really does matter, that offering a posture of joy or a posture of aliveness, openness, courage, can sometimes we can let our bodies teach our mind to feel a different way. So with this experience of space in your body, let your mind receive that message that I can stay open in my heart. I can stay free in my spine. I can feel grounded. And let that posture kind of settle itself and bring your breath into it. Feeling that big open spaciousness. Letting your exhales take a long time. Try to be patient and just practice this beautiful art of patience with your breath. Let your eyes soften behind the lids and let the facial expressions dissolve a little bit. There's nowhere to go. There's nothing to accomplish. It's just a patience with the breath and awareness of the breath. So ready, bring your hands together, and hopefully even there's just the smallest bit of settling of the mind, all that turbulent energy that can take place. Let's see if you've found just a little bit more settling. And then into that settling, place a focused intention. So with your hands together and your third eye kind of drawing into that centered space, in the center of your mind, the center of your hands, the center of your heart, melting into one. Place your intention here. And let's release your hands. Okay, let's find our way to our mat. All right, so as you stretch out on your back and lengthen your body, enjoy. It's such a gift to lie horizontal for just a moment. Let your knees open up, let your spine spread out. And then reach your body a little longer. So stretch the right side and stretch the left, and enjoy this nice opening in your sides. And then draw your knees into your chest, let your back open up here, and just a little bit of rocking. Notice the bones that kind of touch the ground, and any massaging you can give yourself by a little bit of mobility to and fro. And then let's hang on to the knees and circle. And again, when we start our practice, just live in patience. We'll get there into some bigger movements, but with these smaller movements, pay attention. See if you can draw your awareness into the simplicity of what you're doing. All right, and then after a few rounds of rolling your knees each direction, let's open your knees away from the middle and bring them back in and say hello to the hip joints. See if you can coast along the rim of your hip joint and each hip. Notice the differences between the two. And all right, right knee hugging strongly into your chest. Stretch that left leg straight and let's roll around in your ankles and wiggle your toes. So important to keep the freedom of your feet alive. Okay. Breathing deeply. Let your head drop, let your shoulders drop. All right, and then let's switch sides. Left knee in, right leg long on the ground, and let's feel some movement of our feet. Keep steady with your head, let it relax, let your shoulders relax. Open up and wiggle your toes, feel that freedom of your ankles. Maybe there's a little cracking or popping, and just notice, what's happening. And then when you're ready, grab your strap. And we're gonna hug the right knee back in toward the chest. And you can put your left foot on the ground or your left leg straight. Wrap that strap around your foot. Okay. And lift that leg straight up in the air. Move your right hip away from your shoulder. And drop your femur bone deep down into the ground. Feel that rooting first, and then rise up through your foot, press it into the strap, and see if you can feel those opposing directions at the same time. Let your shoulders melt, let your head melt, okay? And then let's flex and point our foot while we're here, so you can really feel that stretch on the top of your foot as well as in your calf. And then we're gonna take the strap into the right hand and open the right leg out to the right. And your left knee can be bent or straight, whatever feels good for your pelvis to help you stabilize. Open up through that inner groin of your right leg. Just give a moment, be patient. See what it feels like to let those inner hamstrings and the inner thigh muscles open up a little bit. And then lift that leg straight up in the air. Take the strap in the left hand and cross the right leg over to the left. Press your right hand into your right thigh. Feel your breath melt. Let your head and shoulders relax again. And just notice what you're feeling. Give yourself some time. Make sure you're breathing. Can you just enjoy a nice long stretch? And then reach that leg straight up in the air. Let's take our right foot on our left knee and find a reverse pigeon, or right thigh over left thigh and draw your knees to your chest. Either way, we're just kind of opening up that right hip a little bit, melt your head and shoulders again. And notice every time you pay attention and melt your head and shoulders, notice there is something probably to melt that you are holding a little tension. And it's so typical for us to want to move our heads forward. So see if you can just melt it down toward the ground, let the ground receive you. And then lift those legs straight up in the air. Reach your arms overhead and notice the difference between your two legs, that sensation difference between your two legs. Root your femur bones down toward the ground, stretch your arms overhead, knit your ribs toward the ground, and then slowly lower your legs down to the ground. You can bend your knees at any point that you need to. Once they're down there, left knee hugging into your chest, give it a good squeeze, wrap the strap around your left foot. Now remember that right foot can be straight or your right foot can be on the floor. Right leg can be straight or your right foot can be on the floor with your knee bent. See what feels good. Root your femur bone, that left femur bone, drop it down like you're moving a deep stake into the ground, and then rise up, reaching your foot into the strap, and find the simultaneous direction of those two forms. Head is heavy, shoulders are relaxed. Let's flex and point our foot here so we feel that calf open up, feel the top of your foot stretch open. Now let's take the strap into the left hand and we'll open up the left leg out to the left. Ground the right leg on the earth. Let your head get heavy, your shoulders get heavy. Breathing deeply. A full inhale. A long, steady exhale. And then lift, when you're ready, that leg straight up in the air. And let's cross the left leg over to the right. Maybe left heel or the heel of your left hand presses into that top of left thigh. Again, head and shoulders are relaxed and heavy. Be active in your left foot. Press out through all four corners. And let's lift that leg straight back up again into the air. And we're going to join the other foot into the strap, 2 feet in the strap now. So hang on to the strap still. Root both your femur bones down. Rise up through both your feet. Find that symmetry. Feel the elongation of your spine. Just enjoy all the space. And then we'll take your right foot on the ground. Put your left foot on your right knee or thigh over thigh for a hip stretch on this side. Your choice. Drawing in toward your chest. Melt your head and shoulders. Breathing deeply. Enjoy such a simple stretch, such a good stretch. All right, and then reach your 2 legs straight up in the air, no strap, arms overhead. One more time, feel that knitting of your core. Release your femur bones down toward the ground. And we're going to open our legs wide like the letter V. And just open up through your inner thighs. Keep grounding your core, your ribs. And then we're going to lift those legs straight up in the air, bend your knees, and bring them back in toward your chest. Give yourself a nice hug. And then stretch out to a star, reaching your limbs wide. Find that symmetry between your 2 sides. Exhale, draw your knees in. One more time. Inhale, wide. Exhale, drawing in. All right, put your feet on the ground. And this time we'll get we've done some external rotation, we've stretched a lot of muscles around our hips. Now let's internally rotate our femur bones. So drop your right knee toward your left foot, pick up your left foot and put it on the outside of the right knee and just notice the stretch here. And you can put a block anywhere that supports underneath that right leg or left leg if you need it. Okay, feeling the stretch along the front of your femur bone a little bit, maybe around the hip joint. I can even feel this in my obliques a little bit. Just kind of sense what is it that you feel. And then stretch your right arm overhead and extend and reach. And then come back up, knees to your chest. And let's switch sides, feet down onto the ground. We're going to take our left knee and drop it toward your right foot. Pick up your right foot and put it to the outside of your left knee. Take blocks and support underneath your knee or underneath your legs, anywhere you need, so that you feel like you're not messing with your hip or your back. Some people can dangle here or touch the ground and it feels fine. Other people need some support. And you could put a block underneath either leg or both. Let's open up that hip. Notice if this feels the same or different from the other side. And that internal rotation of the femur bone. And then when you feel ready, stretch your left arm overhead and find that length through your side. And then release that, come back to center. Last time, draw your knees into your chest, tuck like a round ball, and then let's roll to your side and come up to your hands and your knees. All right, let's start moving through some cat-cows. Okay, so we're arching and rounding the spine. I think if you ever notice, if you take some time away from your yoga practice, 2 or 3 days or 2 or 3 weeks or 2 or 3 months or, oh gosh, 2 or 3 years. But, I just took 2 or 3 days away from my yoga practice. And it's amazing how your body changes. It's so subtle, but we can really do a lot to keep our fascia and all the soft tissues of our body free by taking some time every day to attend to this mobility. Okay, so rounding the spine, arching the back, taking your time, move your pelvis any way you want. Maybe you want to wag your tail or move your ribs. Okay, so take some time, maybe some circles. See what your breath wants to do. All right, then stretch back towards child's pose and walk the hands far out in front of you and feel that length and reach in your body. Maybe you want to rock a little bit left and right. Maybe you want to be very still. Whatever you're doing, bring yourself into your breath. Let's walk our hands over to the right side of the mat and feel that left side body. Open up your lats, your ribs, your shoulder. Come back to center. Walk the hands over to the other side. Feel a grounding of your pelvis. Open up through your ribs and breathe. And come back to center. Up on tall fours, give a little wiggle. And we're going to do some rib cage movements. So move your ribs all the way over to the side and then down toward the ground and over to the other side and up toward the sky. And just move your ribs and your shoulder blades and your sternum and your collarbones and just find all this mobility through your spine. How's your breath? Do not hold your breath. And then do a few passes the other direction and enjoy all this mobility. And stretch back again toward a child's pose and walk those hands far out in front of you. Open up through your shoulders. Come up onto your knees for a moment if this is comfortable. And we're going to take our hands on the ground, palms facing down, fingers pointing toward our knees. We're going to open up our forearms a little bit. So you can do this in a rocking motion if you want to rock back toward your heels and then forward to just kind of give a little dance, a little play into those forearm muscles. You can also statically hold. So maybe drop back a little bit. Drop your shoulder blades down, open your collarbones, spread your hands and ground them, and open up your chest. All right, and relax that. Give your hands a little bit of a shake. And then we're going to go the other direction. So now palms are up, fingers are still pointing toward our knees, palms facing up. Instead of having your elbows bent, straighten your arms, turn the eyes of your elbows forward. Try to keep the backs of the hands on the ground. Maybe a little bit of rocking in this plane. And if it's uncomfortable to be on your knees to do this, you can do this kneeling, or you can even do it standing on a low table or something like that. Opening up those forearms, drop your shoulders, collarbones wide. And then relax and give your hands a little shake. Inhale, come up onto your shins, open your big arms wide, cactus, and then release back down. One more time. Up you go. And then hopefully your hands are ready to be placed on the ground again. And let's lift the left arm all the way up in the air. Exhale, thread the needle and find a twist in your spine. Gaze down toward the ground and let your body breathe. Open up the back side of the spine. See what it feels like. So spread your collarbone, spread your shoulder blades. Relax your head. Breathe well. And then face the ground a little bit, so a little less of a spine stretch, a little more of a shoulder stretch. Collarbones wide, drop your hips back toward your heels a little bit more, like you're as if you're moving toward child's pose. I'm trying to get into all the nooks and crannies of our body. Inhale, reach that arm back up in the air. Hand comes down onto the ground. Let's switch sides. Arm lifting high. Drop that shoulder under. Twisting to the side. Breathing deeply. Enjoy. Let's remember that motion is lotion, that every time we kind of allow ourselves a little time to stretch and move, we're giving our bodies a deep gift. All right, slide out of there a little bit, chest facing the ground. Open up the back side of the shoulder. Collarbones widening. Inhale, bring that arm back up in the air. Hand comes down onto the ground. And let's find our way to a dog pose. All right, so here we are up off the ground. We've been on the ground a while. We're doing a lot of groundwork today. So let's notice when we come off the ground, feeling that full body now, root to rise. Feel that full extension in your spine. Push off your hands. Find the slide glide of your shoulder blades so you can extend your ribs away from your shoulders, away from your hands. Maybe pedaling your feet. We've already done a lot to open up the backs of the legs. Let's see what it feels like to pedal your feet here. Full breath in. Full breath away. All right, walk your feet forward, come to Uttanasana, forward fold, bobble your head, wag your tail, shimmy, shake, whatever you want, bounce a little, anything that serves. Grab some blocks. Inhale for a halfway lift, open up through your spine, lift your femur bones up and back, spread about your toes, feel the heart extend forward. Exhale. Melting again, let the spine lengthen as it falls toward the ground. Halfway lift again, nice straight legs. And let's pedal your feet here. One hip way back and then the other. Bend the opposite knee. Maybe your feet are moving. Breathing deeply and just enjoy. Isn't it so nice that your hips can move? All right, come to a full half lift here. Spread open the backs of your knees, spread them wide, create a lot of space in your feet, lift your sit bones. And then let's bend our knees and we'll come all the way up to stand. Reach your arms upward, feeling that extension in the body. Cactus, open the arms, feel that courageous heart lift and expand, and then reach the arms up. Let's imagine we have a bar that we're pulling down. Reach your arms down, elbows drop, feel the squeeze in the back of your body, and inhale, Reach the arms up again. A little bit of a back bend. Try leaning back just enough, just a teeny bit. Okay, and then exhale and swan dive forward. Let the back open up, shimmy, sway, rock, bounce. Inhale for a halfway lift. Open up through your spine. Exhale, melting to fold. How are you feeling? Does your body feel better than it did when we began? Let's step our left foot back, come to a lunge. As you find this lunge, open up through your heart. Okay, and let's begin to move here, bending and straightening the front knee, moving toward a lunge where we open the back hip flexor or the back leg hip flexors, and then moving towards straight legs where we open up the back of the front leg. Our breath takes us where we're going. Motion is lotion. All right, let's ground the feet. Inhale, rise up, crescent lunge. Feel that extension. Let's cactus, open the arms again here and then press forward, lean forward, ground into your feet, use your core. Inhale up, find your breath, exhale forward again. Time. This time we're going to twist open to the side. We're turning to the right. Stay deep in your lunge. Drop your shoulders. Ground into your legs. Find your breath. Maybe you want to go a little deeper into a little bit of a back bend. Just see where your body wants to be. And then inhale, arms come back up. Hands come down onto the ground. Back foot comes forward. A deep forward fold. Relax your neck. Inhale for a halfway lift, melting to fold again. Step your other foot back, left foot in front, right leg behind, ground your legs. And let's start to bend and straighten the front knee here. Finding your way with your breath. A deep inhale, deep exhale. Where are you moving? Where are you breathing? All right, when you feel ready, ground your legs. Inhale to rise up for a crescent lunge. Opening up wide to the sky. Let's breathe in, cactus the arms, and as you breathe out, lean forward and push. Ground into your legs. Inhale, rising up, breathe in. Breathe out. Coming on up. We'll twist to the side. I notice if this side feels better, not as good, more steady, less. Drop your shoulders. Maybe you want to go a little deeper and grab onto the back of your thigh and extend upward. Maybe that's not for you. Whatever you're doing, we're breathing deeply. And then come back to center. Hands onto the ground, a dog pose. Feel that extension in the body. Round root to rise. Come forward into a plank. Shoulders away from the ears. Find that integration of your center like we did when we were on our backs with our legs in the air. Full breath in. Full breath away. Let's find the ground. Roll the shoulders. Roll the shoulders. Take a deep breath. A cobra pose. Open the chest, stretching open the front spine. Exhale to come back down. Let's try again. Rising up. Melting to come back down. Come up on tall fours. Give a little wiggle and a little sway. And then find a child's pose. And take stock. Notice how, doing a half hour or so of yoga, so much can change in such a short period of time that, sometimes even just those beginning warm-up stretches, if I have time for nothing else and I just do 5 minutes of yoga, something shifts in me. And I hope you feel the same, that a subtlety of just a few minutes of presence in your body and moving your body and moving into your breath can make profound differences. So remember that even if you don't have an hour for your practice, to try those little bites through the day, little snacks, yoga snacks through your day. All right, we'll come back up to a dog pose, spreading out your hands, curling the toes, and feel that extension and length in your body. All right, walk your feet forward, come to an Uttanasana, a halfway lift again. Exhale, drop down, inhale, rise up. Find that extension. And release your hands down. If you're comfy, interlace your hands behind your back. If that's not comfy, grab a strap to hold behind your back. So open up the front of your chest. So we're taking our hands behind us, open up, and then tip forward and let your arms reach away from your spine, stretching to the fronts of your shoulders now. Feel your back body open up. Relax your neck. All right, and then release your hands and come all the way up to stand. Okay. All right, let's take a moment for a Tadasana, a mountain pose. Can you just cherish the presence of being inside your body, inside your breath? Notice, just scan what feels more free than when we began. Where are you feeling a sense of presence that maybe you didn't before? Is your breath a little bit more full, a little bit more integrated into your body? Do you have a greater sense of awareness? Is your mind quieter? Can you feel the ground a little bit better? Notice all these subtle little changes that happen in our practice. All right, take your legs nice and wide. And let's open the inner thighs a little bit more here. So elbows inside your knees, ground your legs, kind of hug open your knees, let them spread wide. And then inhale and come on up. Let's turn to the right with our legs. So we're finding some standing poses now. We're going to start with the triangle pose. Reach your right arm up, feel that side body stretch, and then extend. I like to use a block. Maybe you like to put your hand on your leg. However you like to be in a triangle pose. Drop your shoulders away from the ears and expand heart to hands. Now notice the grounding of your legs. Root them down. And with our body, taking a shape where we're up off the ground, notice the expansiveness. And you look up at your hand. If that bothers your neck, don't do that. All right, push off your feet. Reverse that triangle pose again. So we're opening up. Bend through your front knee, elbow on your knee, a Parsva Konasana. Such a beautiful stretch in the whole side of your body. So allow that femur bone to drop back, reach through your ribs and your arm. Remember to stay grounded in your legs. Soften the base of your skull. Keep your breath moving in your body. Now we're going to have a little flow here. Okay. So we're going to come on up, keep your legs in the warrior, and you can be in the kind of a high warrior, like I'm not as deep as I sometimes might be. We're going to roll through our arms and then reach and extend through our side. And then come back up and spiral the arms. Try to stay with your core and with your grounded legs, even as your spine and your ribs get to do some mobility and your breath finds different patterns, different shapes it can take in your body. Now we'll stay. Parsvakonasana again. Open up and reach. Ground through your legs, feel your strength. And then we'll come back up. A wide-legged stance. Before we go to the second side, turn your feet out. And let's just find a standing star. And if that's not comfortable, you can just come with your legs closer. Wherever you feel a sense of stability in that, you can lift your arms and feel the aliveness, the connection. All right. And relax your arms down. And we'll start with the triangle pose. Turn your left foot out. A block if you like to use a block. Let's reach the left arm up and feel that side body stretch. And then tip to the side and bring the hand to rest on the block. Move your shoulders away from the ears, tail away from your head. Move your heart into your hands. Can you feel both a deep sense of ground and a deep sense of space? Bring yourself into your breathing body. Long, deep, steady breaths. Be patient for your breath. Try not to rush. Push off our feet. Rise all the way back to that reverse triangle pose. And we'll find our way to a Parsvakonasana on this side. Elbow on your knee or hand on a block. Stretch your arm overhead. Let yourself ground into your legs. Slide the shoulders away from the ears and check in with your neck, nice and soft. Full breaths. Notice if you're holding tension in your hands or in your face, can you let go? Can you root through your feet well? Let's start to do that flowing movement. So inhale to come up. We'll spiral the hands and the ribs. Come back. Make sure that you're breathing. Make sure that your legs and your core are your stabilizing factors so that the shoulders and the ribs and the spine can have some mobility with the support of the core and the legs behind it. Stay one more time in this Parsvakonasana, dropping the shoulders away from the ears, feeling the deep ground in your feet. Open up through your breath. Come back up. Again, either a standing star, or maybe you prefer to put your legs closer together and stand into a Tadasana, or just slightly wider legs with your arms up. So what are you inviting? Make that universal connection with these arms overhead. There's a lot of touching into other things, spaciousness around you. And then release your hands down. Walk your feet together. Come into Tadasana. And now let's rock on our feet for a moment. Come up onto your toes and back onto your heels. Remember that keeping your feet and your calves mobile and strong are such an important aspect of moving lymph in our body, of keeping our balance capacities alive in our body. Up onto your toes, stay, arms reaching high again. Feeling that extension. And then relax your legs back down. Feel the ground again. Okay, we're gonna come into a tree pose. So ground the right foot. We're gonna bring our left leg up. Now you can have it low, you can have it to your calf, you can have it up at your thigh. So wherever you're inclined today, try not to let your heel push into the inner knee. And whatever you're doing, we're not hiking the hip out, we're keeping the hip in, that right hip hugs in. And again, reach the arms upward and expand. If you tip, all that happens is your foot comes down. It's not a big deal. Detach from your desire for staying still and instead be where you are. Melt the eyes, melt the base of the skull, unlock your standing knee, keep your hip hugging in, your core is engaged. Make sure you're breathing. And then relax and put that foot down onto the ground and enjoy your two legs for a moment. Notice if you're concentrated, it's good to concentrate, but if you have a burrowing where you feel tense or your brain feels constricted or your breath feels constricted, let's try on the second side to have that flow and maneuverability and spaciousness embedded within the balance challenge. Okay, so left foot grounding. Bring your right foot to wherever you want it to be. I'm taking it to my calf today. You might be at your inner thigh or at your ankle or even with your toes still on the floor. Notice your hip, hug it in, and then also notice if you're pushing your left hip forward. Take your left femur bone back, unlock your knee. It'll make balance harder, but that's good. We're not relying on locked out joints to support us, but our nervous system moment by moment to trigger muscular contraction. Okay, core is engaged, keep that hip hugged in. I can feel it in my glutes and my hamstrings, everything's active to support. Reach your arms up in the air if you can or want to. You can always take a different position. Keep the base of the skull relaxed. Keep opening up the knee, even though our ribs are facing forward, so don't let your torso turn. Keep your torso facing forward. Breathing deeply. Unlock your feet. Spread your toes instead of gripping. How's your breath? How's that sense of softness? Let's relax and put that foot down onto the ground and just enjoy. And maybe you want a little bit of a bounce or a wiggle. Okay, so anything that feels good, release, maybe a shake through your hands or a shake through your leg. Okay. Shaking's really good for you, so never underestimate the power of a good shake. Okay, now let's return toward the front of our mat and we'll do a vinyasa. Okay, just kind of reintegrating after the standing poses. Inhale, open up, reach to the sky, and then exhale and float forward. Notice how nice it feels to get your head closer to the ground. Inhale for a halfway lift. Let's think about what foot you want to take back. Fold forward. Maybe your non-dominant foot, not the one you always take back first. Try to take that path less traveled in your body as often as you can. Ground, yield. Find the rising. You push down and rise up. Yield down. And then push and reach. Come forward into a plank. Find that sturdiness. It's a strong pose. Push the ground away. Index finger mounds, making contact. Hug your hands toward each other. Shoulder blades down the back. The core and the ribs are engaged. The legs are engaged. And then we'll find the ground all the way to the earth with your torso. Inhale for a cobra or any other posture that's right for you. Exhale and melt back down. Let's take our left knee high up toward our armpit. Maybe turn and look at that foot just to get that crouching kind of salamander vibe in your body. And then we'll thread the right arm underneath our chest and twist open. Left arm, back of hand touching the ground. Back of head touching the ground. Let your knee leave the floor. You can put a block under there if you want, or just let it hang. Breathe deeply. Just enjoy the spiral of the spine. Maybe turn your head, maybe turn your eyes. Come rolling back, neutral again. Wide arms out like a V, palms facing down. Inhale to extend the heart forward, lift up a little bit of a back bend, reach your legs, and then exhale and relax. Let's take the other side. Right knee up toward your arm, turn and look at that knee so you feel that kind of, like how a salamander moves. We're doing one-sided. And then we'll thread that left arm underneath our chest, over to the right side of our mat. Spiral open. Move blocks out of the way if they're there. Turn your head, turn your eyes. Let the back of the right hand touch the ground. Full breaths. Enjoy that nice patience of your breathing. Can you melt the neck and shoulders and the head? Come back round again when you're ready. Come up to your hands and your knees. Give your tail a good wag. And then find a deep compression in your hip joints as you come back towards child's pose. Find your breath traveling down your whole spine. Come to sit up. Grab a blanket to sit on so you have some support underneath you. Let's take either our right leg straight and cross your left knee over, or you can tuck your right foot next to your left hip. Okay, so you choose where you want that bottom leg, your right leg, to be. If you tuck your foot and it makes you list off to the right, I would straighten your leg. So try to be upright, okay? And then you do you. Maybe your forearm comes to your knee and you twist open. Maybe the elbow comes to your knee and you twist open. Just find the posture that works for you. Back to center, and we're going to switch sides. So either your left leg is straight out with your right leg crossed over it with your foot on the ground, or you tuck your left foot next to your right hip. Make sure you're not listing to the left. Make sure you're upright. Blanket can make a big difference. Reaching that left arm up in the air. Maybe your forearm or hand come to your knee. Maybe the elbow to the outer knee. Think less about cranking your body into a deep twist and more about breathing your body into the twist. Thank goodness for yoga. Thank goodness for our yoga practice. What other thing in your life do you do that takes this shape in your body and brings you this specific sensation in the body? Each yoga practice, come back to center, has a little bit of magic built into it. So just try to revel and savor the bites of yoga that you take in your practice. Okay, let's take our feet together. Soles of the feet are together. Our legs are not close against our pelvis, but further out away from us. Still on the edge of the blanket, so there's some good support underneath you. Lift your spine up, and then let's reach forward. Elbows come onto your knees. You can put blocks there if you need extra height. And let's lengthen your spine. So try not to roll back on your pelvis. Tip forward like an anterior tilt to the pelvis. Find your sit bones instead of your tailbone making contact. Extend the spine. Lengthen. Press your knees with your elbows. And maybe your head can bow to find that surrender, but not to the place where your whole spine collapses. Just your head. Breathing deeply. Notice maybe your two legs don't feel the same, your hips don't feel the same, and that's okay. Just pay attention. How's your breath? Let's come up and out of the pose. Bring your knees together around your spine now. Tuck your chin in and just let your back open up. All right, let's relax. And as we come into Shavasana, maybe you'd rather do leg up the wall pose right now, or, it doesn't matter. Find what works for you. I'm gonna put my legs up because that sounds nice. So I'm gonna put them up on my couch. Maybe you like to be totally flat. Maybe you like to have a sandbag on your pelvis or an eye pillow on your eyes or a weighted blanket over your body. If you're cold, make sure that you have some warmth, either a sock, sweatshirt, or a blanket. And whatever position you end up in, take your time, but just make sure, like, push props out of the way. So if if your foot's touching a strap or something, try to move all the little things around you so that there's less input distracting you from the depth of Shavasana. And as your body settles into comfort, again, melt your head. So much of the day, we reach our heads into the day, we think our way into the day. Melt your head back. Feel the support of the ground. Allow your shoulders and your arms to melt into the floor. Feel the surrender of your spine, of your pelvis. Feel the surrender of the weight of your legs. Breathing. Start to stretch and move your body in a way that feels nourishing and supportive. Eventually coming onto your side. As you work your way up to sit, take your time. Let's bring hands together. Let's remember to just honor our practice. It's such a gift. Honor yourself for taking the time to come into presence of mind, body, spirit, and to nourish yourself, care for yourself. Let's end with some deep appreciations and gratitude for our health and well-being, however that is for you today. Let's offer our energy, what we have to give, let's send forth. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.